You gotta let projects get, you know, ripe before they're ready to work on. It's kind of looking like the old Brockway is getting there. You know, we got some nice green coming up through it. You know, and they say when the fruit is red, it's about ready for harvest. Before we get going on this thing, I think we're gonna clear some junk out of the driveway, and we'll change the tractor and drag it up on the blacktop. We'll get under it, and you know, as always, we'll check for water in the oil and see what we got going on. I bought this truck probably, oh, I don't know, 3 years ago, something like that. And just, you know, things have been so busy. I have not done a thing with it. Unloaded it off the trailer, rolled it to this spot, and that's where she's set. So, don't know anything about it, really. I was told that it ran at one point. So hopefully engine's loose, and it'll be just a matter of scraping the points and maybe cleaning the carb up and throwing an IV can on it for fuel. Obviously, we're not going to want to run it through the old tanks and suck a bunch of varnish up. So anyway, we'll get going on this thing and maybe see if we can make some noise. All right, got a spot cleared, and you can actually see it now. So we'll get the old 990 out and drag this thing up out of the hole that it's sunk into and get her up on the driveway. Should be neutral. Looks like a okayish place to work on it. It's about 11 billion degrees outside today, and probably not the greatest day to pick to work on this, but just got out of work, and you know, sun's shining for the moment. They're calling for some storms later, so might as well take some time and see what we can get done. At least pick at it a little bit at a time. This whole working for a living thing is, you know, it's a huge pain. You need to figure out how to become independently wealthy. All right. So we got the hood folded open. Anyway, the hinges are a little stiff, so we're gonna get some penetrating oil and soak them up, see if we can free them up. And here's the beast under the hood. Got a 572 cubic inch Continental gasoline straight six. Rumor has it this ran. Been a long time, I reckon. So we're gonna go through the typical stuff first. We'll crack the plug loose and check for any water in the oil. And to then we'll throw a battery in it, see if it cranks over. We'll check for a spark and kind of pick at this a little bit at a time. So the first quick check is just going to be the oil level. I'm going to pull the stick and have a look at it. Get this over here where I'm not dripping all over the place, but you can see that it's over full a bit. Relatively clean, which is somewhat comforting, but it being over full is a little concerning. Sometimes that means there's water in the bottom of the pan, and I don't like to use that as a end-all be-all of whether there's water in the pan or not, because you know, if the truck was 2 quarts low on oil when they parked it and then it got 2 quarts of water in the pan, it's going to show perfectly full and not over full, and you might think it's all right, but there's still water in there. So we're going to crack the drain plug loose on the pan and drip a little bit out of it and see if there's water sitting on the bottom. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I do this religiously for anything that's been sitting for a long time. Water is denser than oil, so if it's been sitting in there, it'll be at the bottom of the pan. You crack the plug loose, just kind of tip it a little bit, let a little bit dribble out, and if there's water in there, you'll see it. And plus, you know, with that method, if you let it out real slow, the water will push out the bottom, and we can get rid of it. And when it starts showing clean oil, then we'll put the plug back in and call it good enough for now to at least fire the truck up or crank the motor over or do whatever it is we're going to do without doing any damage to the bearings in the lower end. All right, so we'll crack that plug out of there and see what we got. There we are. Did I crack that loose off camera? You bet I did. Well, let's see if we can do this without making a colossal mess. They've conveniently placed the oil plug directly above the front axle. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, that's water. Alright, so we got the plug back in, drained off a little bit of oil, a little bit of water, a little bit of sludge. I am smelling some serious gasoline contamination in the oil. You can smell straight gasoline varnish in the oil, so that could be indicative of carburetor issues, or somebody spent a ton of time cranking this over and pumping the throttle trying to get it to start. Don't know, hey, this thing was green before. Oh, that's interesting. Squirrel! Huh. But anyway, before we run this for too long, if we get to the point of, you know, being optimistic here, if we get to the point of getting it running, we're definitely going to want to give it an oil change, put some fresh oil in it. So, on to the next. Alright, so next I guess we're gonna pop a battery in this thing and see if it cranks over. Oh, there's already a battery in it, and it's a second, and I'm sure that's absolutely shot. So I guess first we're gonna be taking this battery out. Oh yeah, might as well blast a little WD on the hinges while we're in there. Oh yeah, soak it up. Yeah. Oh, it's the good stuff. Well, now that we got that out, I'm unfortunately going to have to run to the store. And I don't know what the heck they're doing next door, but they're making a bunch of noise. Anyway, I'm going to have to run to the store and get some terminal adapters, because I was planning on robbing the battery out of the old 990 tractor. And that's a regular top post, and these have got the old thread-in terminals, so buying an adapter is going to be a lot cheaper than buying another battery, so we'll go that route. Well, it's a new day, but you wouldn't have known if I hadn't told you. Swung by my local Napa on the way home from work, grabbed a couple terminal adapters, so now we'll rob the battery out of the old 990 and chuck it in here, and first see if anything catches on fire, and if it doesn't, then we'll see if the engine cranks over. So, something else I noticed here too, well, I'd have to open the hood to show you what I can't do with one hand. But anyway, the fuel pump the mechanical fuel pump under the hood is not hooked up. So I got hunting around, and I don't know if you can see that in there, but they've got a Mr. Gasket electronic fuel pump screwed to the rail down there and run straight into the tank. So that could potentially explain why there's so much fuel in the oil. Depending on how much pressure that electric pump is making, it might be overcoming the needle and seat in the carburetor. These carbs are really only set up to handle, I mean, just a total stab in the dark. I mean, 5 psi tops fuel pressure. So if you make more than that, it could be pushing right past the needle and seat and just overflowing the carb right into the engine and polluting the oil, and etc., etc. So anywho, let's get a battery in this thing. We'll take one step at a time. If the fuel pump turns on or works, there's no fuel at all in the tank, so I'm not concerned about pulling the line off right now. But if I hear the fuel pump work and everything functions and it cranks over, we may pull a line off and run it into an IV, get some fresh clean fuel, and you know, what the heck, you know, just see if it starts. It probably won't. We're probably gonna scrape the points and whatnot, but let's see what happens. See that? That's all you know it's good. America! That and that right there. Can you read that? Yes. That's good stuff. Don't see that very often anymore, huh? Okay, so we got the cable ends and the terminals cleaned up, and we got the gender non-binary, non-conforming, whatever. The battery now identifies as something else. So we're gonna get that slammed in there, and I'm just gonna make the assumption that the one, I know you shouldn't assume, especially today, but I'm just going to make the assumption that the one with red tape all over it is positive. And the one that's, you know, black is negative, because that's par for the course. So I always do the negative first. Yeah, I'll get this guy on here. Okay, now well, no sparky sparks, so that's good. Means nothing's drawn on it right now. We'll tighten that down ish. We'll pop the hood open and look for, you know, smoke or anything else that's concerning. Nope, not seeing any smoke so far, so guess we'll hop in. Oh, I left my GoPro in there. Oops. Let's see what we got going on in here. Pretty up. Nothing. Not sure if it should buzz. Nothing. Don't know if there's a starter button. That feels like a start position, and nothing. So, guess we got a little figuring to do here. I'm an idiot. I found it. It's the floor button. Old school. That's concerning, though. It's definitely acting like the engine's locked up. Oh man, that's a bummer. So I'm gonna pull the crankshaft out of it. Yes, it has a crank backup, and see if that's in fact the case. All right, who wants to place bets? Is the engine locked up? Get in there. Well, she is definitely seized. So, I guess next step is we'll pull the spark plugs out of it and take a look at the cylinder bores, see what they look like. If they're not horrendously bad, then we'll pickle them with something and see if we can't break it loose. Always something. Well guys, we got some plugs out. The rear bank, if you will. The plugs were showing some rust on the electrodes, so started with those cylinders, and yeah, it's not looking good. It's kind of hard to take a video of a video here, but if you look at the diagonal line, I can't really point at it or I'll drop the camera, but if you look at the diagonal line across the screen, that's basically the seam between the cylinder head and the bore. The top right corner is the bore, and just above that, where those white splotches are, that's the piston. So it's almost all the way up to top dead center, which I suppose is arguably good from the respect of getting it unstuck, but those white splotches are actually water sitting on the top of the piston, and you can see that the top of the bore is caked in rust. So this is not good. Definitely not good. I don't know how it got in there. The truck doesn't have a stack on it. Carburetor is covered up. I'm not really sure. But regardless, it's there, and that's definitely the root of our issue. So I can't come out, focus on the right thing here. I can't get the rear spark plug out. That's frozen right in there, which is also indicative of there being moisture in the bore. So we'll keep messing with that and see if we can get it out. And I don't know, we got some decisions to make here. Not good. See if I can get this on video here. The front cylinders, or the front bank as we're calling it, they don't look too bad at all. So this is kind of a good comparison of, you know, more what it should look like, or at least for something that's been sitting for quite a while. Little tiny bit of rust speckling on the walls, but nothing to worry about. Generally pretty clean. So yeah, the problem is definitely the back bank. We got to work on getting that rear plug out and then kind of decide what we're going to do from there. All I can say is that if you see someone using this method to get a spark plug out, you should probably go somewhere else. It's probably going to end badly. Well, got her out. Didn't take the threads with it. It's a good day. Definitely got some corrosion on there. So I get the bore scope shoved in there and see how horrible it is. I'm sure it's bad. Alright, so looked for a funnel, don't have the right size funnel. Looked for some hose, don't have the right size hose. So we're just gonna jam the old siphon right in here and give her a couple pumps per cylinder, I guess. I don't know. See how this works out. Not entirely sure how much to put in there. Well, that piston's almost all the way at the top, so probably not a ton. This one's down a little bit more. Plus we got to get all this out. Sure. Look good to you? Yeah, looks good to me too. Yep, just right. All right. Now we let that pickle for, I don't know, an hour, a day. Your guess is as good as mine.